Hello and welcome to a very special telecast. I am Devika Devan. Viewers, have you ever wondered if we could predict the weather with pinpoint accuracy right down to each village? Well, get ready because India has just made that dream a reality. Today we're talking about something truly special, the launch of the Bharat forecast system. This isn't just another weather report, it's a huge step forward for our country, dedicated just recently at the Vigyan Bhavan. Imagine this, our incredible scientists at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology in Pune have developed a super smart weather system. It dramatically enhances India's weather forecast resolution from 12 kilometers to an unprecedented 6 kilometers. This means that with its real-time modeling based on cutting-edge triangular cubic octa-hurdle grid model, every single village in India will now have access to incredibly precise and location-specific forecasts. But if you're wondering how this helps, well, for starters, it's a game changer for our farmers, the backbone of India. They'll know exactly when to plant, when to harvest, and how to protect their crops from bad weather. We're talking about a 30% better prediction for heavy rain and a whopping 64% improvement in key areas. This means less crop loss, better planning, and ultimately more money for our farmers and a boost for the entire economy. It's all about helping you make better decisions and stay safe. And here's the really proud part. This isn't something we have bought from another country. The Bharat forecast system is one of the first high-resolution weather systems in the world that was made right here in India. This is truly an example of Atmanirbharta, being self-reliant. This system isn't just for India. It is so good that it will also help other tropical countries facing tough weather. The Bharat forecast system is more than just a technological achievement. It's a symbol of a new India, innovative, self-reliant and committed to leveraging science for the betterment of its people and the world. With that, let me introduce you Dr. Surya Chand Rao, Director of IITM Pune. Dr. Rao, thank you so much for joining us on NewsX, sir. I want to understand from you in the beginning, how did your team really collaborate to bring about such a complex project to life? What was the team spirit like?
Okay, so thank you for calling me for this interview. And the major challenge that we faced when we started forecasting monsoon is that we have understood by examining different models across the world from different centers that one of the biggest problem in all these models across any center you take, any leading center in the world you take, you notice that the monsoon is not well represented in these models. So when monsoon is not well represented in model, that model utility for monsoon area like India is very, very difficult to get better prediction skills. So the team at IITM led by Dr. Mukhopadhyaya has thought about having very high resolution model for resolving the monsoon in the over Indian region. So to do that, what they have done is that first they have identified what are the problems in the models and how to address those problems. So even the government of India has realized that we have to have our own modeling system so that the monsoons can be forecasted better. So this is the beginning of our journey, and actually started some almost 15 years back under monsoon mission, and during that time we were actually started using models borrowed from other nations, particularly from US. We have borrowed a model and started working on it. So first thing we have noticed is that there is a big challenge in representing the monsoon in that model. So the researchers at IITM have worked very hard to identify those problems and also to reduce those problems. But when we solved that problem, but then we realized some other problems that like extremes in the monsoon region are not well captured. So the best way to represent extremes in the model is by increase the resolution. So my colleagues will give you more details about how
Yes.
they have achieved this and all, but this is the beginning of the problem itself. So when you cannot get monsoon itself properly in the models, so then how can you improve the prediction scale? So that is the beginning of this journey.
Dr. Rao, I also want to understand from you, sir, what kind of support and resources then did the institute have to provide to ensure that this very ambitious project does come to fruition and comes to life?
Okay, so when it comes to the support that is provided to the scientists of this institute, we have to understand that it is not a single person's support or anybody. It is actually several directors have served for this purpose. So this monsoon mission program is major agenda is to improve the forecast in the dynamical models. That idea was taken up during 2010 or so. So we started writing a proposal to the government of India to get funding. So when we wrote the proposal, not a single 1 rupee is cut from the budget. The proposal was approved in total. So that is the support that we received. So that time I was involved in writing these proposals to the government of India and defending that proposal. I was responsible for that part. So after this project was funded, so people started looking at these different aspects of models and try to improve it.
Okay.
So biggest support that actually we got for this project is HPC, that is high performance computer. So prior to this monsoon mission project, the weather and climate scientists in the nation do not have resources even to run simple models. So after that project, the government is very, very cooperative and gave us a lot of resources, particularly in terms of human resources, funding, and also the HPC resources. So first time we saw from that time onwards, when today we are getting the best systems in the world, which are used by other weather and climate centers also. And most of the time, the MOS stood in the first place in having these resources in the country. So that much support that we have received from government. So that is why this is possible now.
Dr. Rao, before I let you go, sir, one last question. What message do you have for the nation about the capabilities and potential of the Indian scientific research that has been demonstrated by this achievement, sir?
Yeah. So as we all realize that there is a lot of talent within the country. So what that is required is to be done is that to focus the talent and give them a proper task. So the talent pool that we have in India is capable enough if they are provided sufficient resources and sufficient guidance, particularly the young talent, then they can achieve feats like this. So recently we have seen that Operation Sindoor is big success because of indigenous development. I hope the same thing was followed there as well. So the talent is there, the right direction and the right support is what is required for achieving something like these things. So we are again thankful to the government for believing in us and providing that support.
Absolutely. Dr. Rao, thank you so much, sir. Wonderful to have you on NewsX, and thank you so much for opening up this extremely exciting conversation that we will have now with the rest of the team as well. I take a moment now, viewers, to introduce Professor P. Mukhopadhyay. He's a former scientist at IITM Pune. Professor Mukhopadhyay, I want to begin by asking you, sir, a small video image was shared with us earlier by your team, which shows us various weather patterns. If it's possible for you to perhaps just take us through what is it that we can actually see in that image, sir.
I mean, you are mentioning about the symbol or something? What they have made a symbol of Bharat forecast system or something?
Professor Mukhopadhyay, we've been given a video, sir, which has the map of India, and it has, it's clearly showing a lot of variations as far as the weather is concerned. I want to understand from you, is this ultimately what will be available to the public at large? Is this how we will be witnessing the Bharat forecast system?
Well, let me first tell you, this is a dream project in my career. Okay, we started this project in 2017, kind of in a very informal manner. Okay, nobody asked us to start this project. What just now you heard from director is that we were by that time, with the help of monsoon mission and government support, we were running a 12 by 12 kilometer model. Why 12 by 12? Because 12 by 12 fits, typically with the block of IMD. Okay, so this requirement always comes from IMD, and then IITM develops. You can think that IITM is always working behind for the research, for the purpose of improving IMD's forecast. So that was a 12 by 12 going on fine. 2017, we had an international workshop in IITM called Introspect. We really wanted to introspect where we stand, where we want to go in the perspective of countries' weather forecast. Okay, and by the time, unfortunately, 2018 and 2019, we got devastating flood in Kerala. And you must be knowing that none of the forecast model across the globe could accurately predict this, huge rainfall. So it was very crystal clear, as director mentioned, the 12 by 12 kilometer GFS, global forecast system adopted from US, was working well, but it was not capturing the extreme rainfall event, which is increasing due to climate change.
Yes.
This was the starting point. Okay, and what video you have seen, possibly they have integrated all these vagaries of monsoon, like depressions and cyclones and so on and so forth. Okay, so
Yes.
this is the beginning, and then in 2017 we started, just 4 people. One of the developer is sitting here, Dr. Prajiz, Dr. Fani, and Dr. Siddharth. We just 3-4 people, we started that, and then this development continued. Yeah, please.
Okay, Professor Mukhopadhyay, interestingly, you raised the point of how there were earlier systems adopted by, based on technology from the United States of America. But I want to understand from you, so how does the Bharat forecast system's underlying technology compare to that which is supposedly the best in the world? What is it that truly is setting it apart?
Yeah, it's a good question. See, the point is, this model, any system, if you know it by in and out, it is always better rather than using something in black box. Okay, so when we used to adopt models, okay, so we were running it, but then we have earlier, before monsoon mission, so we used to adopt when their next version comes, again people used to adopt the next version and so on. So our roadmap and development was a function of others' development. That should not happen. When you are investing, there was a basic question. The fundamental question was, when in monsoon missions we are investing taxpayers' money, right? Why we should not have our own roadmap for model development? This was the fundamental question. This was debated in many meetings. Okay, so we took up this point. Okay, and then what we did in this model, that whatever development has been done, as director told, that should not go waste. We should utilize them, but utilizing them, we should find a way by which we can improve the informations and forecast over the Indian region and over the whole global tropics. Tropics means broadly 30 degree south latitude to 30 degree north latitude. Now in this model, the exclusive feature is that if you start walking from, say, North Pole, right, from the Arctic, and you are walking down to equator, 0 degree, so you will come across, you will see that grid resolutions are gradually increasing. Okay. So in the pole, it is something around 10 kilometer. You come down to around 70 knot, you will see it has come to 9 kilometer, then 8, then 7. Over this region, between 30 south to 30 knot, where we have maximum convection, maximum rain, tropical cyclone, depressions, heavy rain, and so on and so forth, this region is covered by the highest resolution of 6 kilometer. Now, what is the advantage of this? Advantage is that the area of interest you are running at high resolution means you need more computer, right? More computing power.
Yes.
But the region where you are not so much important, I mean, of so much of importance, for example, Arctic, pole, mid-latitude, and so on, there you are running the model at lower resolution. Okay, so there is a gradual division of computing power. As a result, you can leverage, you can reduce the compute, you can run the model faster, and it is beneficial for your computation. This is the unique aspect of this, what you in the beginning you said, cubic octahedral grid. This grid has been used. This was not there in GFS. Okay, GFS was running 12 kilometers in the North Pole also, in the South Pole also, in the Pacific also, in the Indian Ocean, Indian region also. Okay, so this is a very unique, grading system
Yes.
that has been introduced in this Bharat forecast system.
Interesting. Professor Mukhopadhyay, then that brings me to the next big question. What were some of the biggest scientific or technical puzzles that you've had to solve to make this high resolution forecasting even possible?
Yeah, there are many hurdles actually. See, because you must be knowing by this time that we have adopted many models, but we have never developed. India never developed any model from scratch. This model is developed from scratch. I cannot go into the technicality. There is a published paper by our team. You can, those who are interested, they can read it. So this model was built from scratch. Okay. As a result of that, when you build something from scratch, there will be hundreds of hurdles. I cannot list them here, but it gave us sleepless night. It gave us nightmare. And at the end of it, let me tell you, so we started in 2017, 18. So by 19, 20, 21, by year 21 end or 22 beginning, okay, when the model was ready by 4, 5 of us, so we just wanted to run the model, okay, and it was not running anywhere. We tested in all computers of India, okay. It was not running because of very high memory, okay, because the director said we had a HPC, but that HPC was falling short as per the requirement of this model, okay. This model requires very high memory. So we were actually getting frustrated that finally possibly we will not be able to run it, but somehow this talented team of Dr. Rajesh and Siddharth and Fani, they again customized the model and we could run it again in our own IITM computer. Although, you must have heard that this model was taking 10 hours time to generate 10-day forecast. That was reasonably so because when the first train was run between Bombay and Dadar, it was not a Vande Bharat, it was a slow train, right? So this model was also running in a slow computer, so taking a lot of time. But then, as you director said, the government of India and Minister was so generous, a new HPC has been adopted, purchased. And when that HPC, by the time I retired, but my team and HPC engineers, they worked so hard that now this model is taking just around 3 hours or a little more than that, for which it is now been implemented operationally. So if you list the hurdles, I cannot list them because they are so technical, but I can only tell who has developed, only he or she can realize. Those who have not developed, I cannot explain them what is the pain and worry and nightmare that a team goes through during those 4 years' time. Okay, so this much only I can share with you.
Okay, all right. Professor Mukhopadhyay, thank you so much, sir, for joining us on NewsX and giving us your insight and that in-depth input on the Bharat forecast system. With that, viewers, I'd also like to introduce our next guest, Dr. Prajesh AG, who's also a former scientist at IITM Pune. Dr. Prajesh, I want to begin by asking you and continue that conversation. As one of the architects of this system, sir, what feature or capability are you personally most proud of and why?
Hi, Dr. Mukhopadhyay sir actually made this thing very serious and yeah, it is actually serious, but at very fundamentally to me, it's fun basically. I mean, solving problems, and it's yeah, kind of sleepless nights, but not nightmare, but sleepless nights. But it's fun to solve these kind of problems. So regarding the question, so the most to be really frank, uh, the features which I would have been proud of is not really there in this model.
Okay.
Okay, so from this is purely see, I'm more like an engineer than a scientist. For me, a model is only good if it is really efficient to its potential, efficient and fast in terms of computation. Okay, not in terms of forecast skill. Of course, forecast skill needs to be good, but that for me at the same time it should be really fast to its potential. That's something which I always have worked for. In that sense, it's like as Dr. Mukhopadhyay told. I mean, we could actually make it faster and memory efficient. But the thing is that this new grid, TCO grid, had enormous potential. But the problem was that to capture the whole potential of that, we really had to rip off, the something called dynamical core of the model, which is like the foundation of, you can think of it as a foundation of a building. So you basically have to rewrite tens of thousands of lines of code, and if you do that, this new concept of TCO grid had huge potential, like really huge potential. And towards that end, I actually, when the Mukhopadhyay sir gave me this document about TCO grid, this grid, at that time I was actually I was not in Mukhopadhyay sir's group. I was actually a core developer of IITM ESM, Earth System Model. That's another group. But all these models are basically at the it's basically same. They are just at different resolutions and things like that. So I mean, from the beginning, I always have worked for that model to make
Okay.
it fast, efficient, user friendly, and things like that. So that was my itch. Like, I always wanted to be like faster and efficient. I want to go more resolution, but it's at the same time more faster. But I had hit a wall actually. So I made it a lot faster, but then I couldn't do any more better because there was the as I said, Sir said, they used to use a different grid, and that grid has some inherent problems which made it not any more scalable. Means it won't go any more faster. And I was stuck there. And one day he gave me this document, and like it just blew my mind. I mean, I saw the solution right there in front of me, sitting there to make this model like enormously faster and efficient. And that was the moment.
So Dr.
And I
Rajesh,
actually
I'm assuming that was the eureka moment for you, but I also want to understand, you just spoke about potential as well, right? So beyond weather, how do you see this advanced forecasting technology now impacting other areas of life?
sorry.
How would you just spoke about potential, so I'm asking you, beyond weather forecasting, do you see this advanced technological development impacting other areas of life?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in terms of skill development, for example, like computational science is one of the biggest area, and these models are not just it's beast, like really running on HPCs, like thousands of CPUs, using thousands of CPUs, and so it's a big technology. It's not just something. So that aspect of these models are also important to me, the computational aspects. So yeah, so it's for me, it's not just about the weather itself. It's more about how you efficiently use your HPC system. For example, HPC systems are like crores of rupees, right? I mean, if you're not using it good enough, what's the point?
Okay. Dr. Prajesh, I also want to understand from you one last thing. Just on a lighter note, what would be your suggestion to young scientists, young engineers such as yourself, who want to now work on some of these really large, impactful and very important national projects?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not good at giving advice, but I can tell like what I do usually. So, I mean, I really don't think about impact or national importance or anything. I usually work on curiosity. That's my driving force. I really just work on things that just bugs me, like that itch in my brain that keep me up in the night because I want to solve them. So that's the only thing. So sometimes those problems happens to be large scale, impactful, and this happened to be such a problem. But there are many other things which I have done, which is just, not impactful. But ultimately, as I said, the thing is, it's basically fun, and for me, fun is non-negotiable. I mean, if it's not fun or intellectually exciting, I lose interest. I mean, if you lose interest, how are you supposed to do all this hard work? I mean, it's not possible. It's not just hard work. You need to keep you're solving problems. You can't just, be mechanical in that. You need to have real interest in that. And the only way that happens is when you're organically curious in that. Nobody can, make you do that. So if I have to say anything, I can only say that find that work, what, makes you alive,
Absolutely.
And that's the stuff worth doing. That's it.
Right, absolutely. Dr. Prajesh, thank you so much for joining us on NewsX with your thoughts. I'm going to open up this conversation now to the larger team at IITM. They're all with us, joining us live from the institute itself. Let me begin with Dr. Fani Murali Krishna. Dr. Krishna, just want to understand from you, sir, what was the journey like in terms of developing the Bharat forecast system?
Okay. Actually, Dr. Partha has already mentioned that it's a development. It takes a long time for the developing of the system, and initially we thought about different grids. We have tried with the TCO grid, we have tried with the finite volume, and we came to know that the TCO is a better one. And then selection of the grid was important because which grid gives the better timing and all, we have to plan. We have planned it, and after that the main issue came is with the fixed files, basically the initial conditions and how we have to try with the initial conditions. And after that the system started running, and after that then on the new system we are able to do it in 3 hours.
Okay. On that note, I also want to bring in Dr. Siddharth Kumar into the conversation. So, Dr. Kumar, I want to understand from you, how did you then ensure that the system would be truly relevant and beneficial for every corner of India, from our cities to the remote villages? Dr. Siddharth Kumar?
Thank you for having us here. Actually, this system was... Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Kumar, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Actually, technically, this system was... Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes. So, I think after all the technical glitches we faced, finally the system was ready by 2022. But as soon as the system was ready, we could not just hand it over to the operational agencies. We just wanted to confirm, and we just wanted to have satisfactory results that the system that we have developed right now is working better than the existing system what we have been using. So for that, we were testing this model. We were running this model on test basis for 3 years, from 2022 to till 2025. And we, after thorough validation, actually the main focus of the model was to capture extreme events, tropical cyclones, essentially the high impact weather events. And we did testing over lot of cases, and finally we concluded that this system was doing much better than the previous system, and then that's how we ensured that it might be beneficial for the cities, for the villages, for the farmers and other sectors as well.
Dr. Siddharth Kumar, then I also want to understand one more aspect from you, sir. Can you give us an example of how a new use case or application for this forecast system that you're currently exploring?
See, in the Ministry of Earth Sciences, different organizations have different roles and different mandates. So Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology have a different mandate. India Met Department have a different mandate. So we are basically a research institutions. So we develop tools, we hand over those tools to IMD. And how these products will be useful to the end user, that is their job actually. So, but we have also developed some apps, like Mosam app was developed in-house here in IITM, and that was eventually handed over to IITM. So this system is yet to be integrated with the new forecasting system, the Bharat forecasting system that we have developed. And also there is a web application of Mosam. So, but because this system has recently been handed over to IITM, it will take some time to integrate all the components and come live.
And Dr. Kumar, before I let you go, sir, I want to ask you one more thing. What's the one new skill or piece of knowledge that you've gained through your work on the Bharat forecast system while you were developing the system?
Okay. See, when we talk of a numerical model or a climate model, there are basically two major components of the model. One is physics of the model, or we also call in technical term the subgrid scale. And there is a resolved scale that is called the dynamics of the model. So if you see in Indian community, if you search the web, you will find tons of research articles. Some echo is coming. I am hearing my voice only, so I think there is some technical. Okay, it is fine now. So sorry for interruption. Actually, I was talking, like whenever we talk about a numerical model, there are basically two major components. One is the resolved scale, that is called the dynamics of the model. One is unresolved scale, that is called the physics of the model. If you just go and do a random search on web, you will find tons of articles on the physics of the model. But there were literally no knowledge or no research article on a dynamical core or dynamics of the model. So this was the first time for all of us, because we were starting from the scratch. We had zero knowledge and we had to build upon that. We were seeking also help from leading centers across the world, but we were getting no help at all. So we had to start from the scratch, and now we have, after collaboration, of course we had informal collaboration with some leading centers. Now we have the capability that we could develop this new dynamical core and could have gone from a resolution of 12 kilometer to 6 kilometer in a much more efficient way.
Okay, all right.
So that was the new learning for all of us.
Okay, excellent. Dr. Kumar, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to quickly bring in your colleague, Dr. Medha Deshpande, into the conversation as well. Dr. Deshpande, if you can hear me, I want to begin by asking you, ma'am, how important is the testing phase for a system like the Bharat forecast, which impacts millions of lives?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Devika. We all know that weather impacts every part of life. And the events like tropical cyclones, which have a huge impact on life of the people and the normal day-to-day activity of the people. So the improvement in the prediction of track of the cyclone actually saves lot of life. For example, say 1999 super cyclone when it came, it was about, the death toll was about 10,000, and the similar track and similar intensity, the cyclone Fani which came in 2019, it caused about a death toll of less than 100 people. So and during this testing period we have seen the case of Biparjoy cyclone, which was also well predicted by this particular newly developed model. So of course in real time when it goes, it will have a huge advantage of saving lives of normal people.
Absolutely. Dr. Deshpande, what's the most rewarding part, ma'am, then, of ensuring this high-tech system actually benefits everyday citizens and communities? You've just given a small example of a cyclone that had hit and caused loss of life, tragic loss of life. But I want to still understand from you, what do you think is the most rewarding part?
Like now this forecast system has a better resolution, the 6 kilometer resolution. It can better resolve the spatial scale. So the event which happen, extreme kind of events which happen in the local category. So this model has capability to resolve those events and then predict them accurately. That's what we have seen, and that's like a reward for us, like we are helping to the society.
And Dr. Deshpande, after all your hard work, how confident is the team that the forecasts that are going to be provided by the Bharat forecast system will be extremely accurate and reliable for everyone? Because that's, of course, that's going to be the big test.
Yeah, of course. So our 3 days validation period, we have seen that it has a good predictability for the heavy rainfall events, like heavy category of rainfall. So the operational model which is running right now, compared with that, it is about 30% increase in the accuracy. So that gives us the count how much we can achieve. Of course, talking about the most accurate, like we cannot mimic nature as it is, so we cannot 100% accurately predict weather in advance. But whatever is the predictability limit, we are reaching towards that, and we know that still there are limitations. This is not the end, this is just the start of the story, because we are first time venturing into the indigenously developed models prediction, and we know that this is a very first version of the model. So there is a scope of improvement, and so there is a hope for improving the accuracy also. But we know how much we are sure about the accuracy through our validation, and that validation will be continued, or verification will be continued in the upcoming events also in the operational way.
Absolutely.
So we know the number, how much we are accurate.
Dr. Deshpande, you're talking about, we were discussing potential, of course, and you're, of course, mentioning how with time, with use, with further research, the systems will improve even more. But as per you, Dr. Deshpande, what's the next big dream or innovation you hope to achieve with the Bharat forecast system in the future?
Yeah, so this is the purely dynamical model. Dynamical in the sense, it's actually mathematically solving the processes in the nature. So we need higher and higher resolution to get better accuracy. Now there is a limit on increasing the resolution beyond certain kilometers, say, mainly the computational limitations and the physical processes representation in the model. So we cannot completely rely on this type of dynamical system independently. So the next step will be using the latest machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies to downscale the model where we cannot predict dynamically. So our next dream of project will be making a hybrid prediction system which includes the dynamical model and the machine learning model as well. So that will be our plan for upcoming future.
Okay, Dr. Deshpande, before I let you go, ma'am, you've touched a very interesting point of artificial intelligence. I just want to understand from you, what role do you see AI playing as far as development of these very complex, critical systems for India, scientific systems for India is concerned?
Yeah, what I understand or what our community understands is we cannot like completely depend on artificial intelligence models also, because in the changing climate, the models trained on the past data set may not work. So it should be a combination of dynamical model and machine learning model, and there are applications of machine learning techniques within this dynamical model, like the processes which cannot be mimicked dynamically can be represented by machine learning, but completely machine learning model may not solve our purpose. So that's what the scope of machine learning or artificial intelligence in this particular scientific development I understand.
All right, Dr. Deshpande, thank you so much for joining us on NewsX. I'm going to quickly hop across to your colleague, Dr. Malay Ganai, who's also joining us on NewsX. Dr. Ganai, I want to understand from you, you were, I've been told, part of the testing team for the Bharat forecast system. So when you're developing something so complicated, what exactly are you looking for in terms of the testing, and what was it that you were trying to, in a way, break such a complex system to make it stronger?
Okay, so I mean, it is now known to all, right? In recent decades or recent times, there is a increase in the extreme trend in extreme rainfall, right? And this extreme rainfall has, as we all know, it's a very high impact weather, right? Like we have seen, like Kerala events 2018, then Mumbai events 2005. So all these events actually it has a high socio-economic impact. So the first thing because we increase the resolution from 12 to 6 kilometer, our first objective was to see whether this model is actually improving the prediction of extreme rainfall events or not, because those are much more impactful weather. So that was the first our idea behind looking into the performance of this model. And while looking into this model, while analyzing the model and data, what we found that as this model has a new sophisticated dynamical code with very high resolution, localized resolution, and it also has a scale aware convection scheme, which actually allows us to resolve much more smaller scale processes or atmospheric processes. That actually leads to much more resolving better this extreme rainfall events over the region. So that was the major break we have looked into that.
Okay, so Dr. Ganai, I want to bring in Dr. Radhika Kanase, your colleague, into that aspect and continue this conversation. Dr. Kanase, can you share an instance where your testing perhaps led to a significant improvement in the system's accuracy or reliability? Any sort of moment that was a eureka moment for your team as well? And how does that really work?
As mentioned by Dr. Malay, similar to these extreme events, we have also tested this particular model for the cyclone case. I would like to mention one case that is Biparjoy cyclone, which actually formed during the month of June in 2023. If you remember it, then actually it formed over the Arabian Sea, and it moved in the northward direction initially and then recurved towards the Gujarat state, and it had landfall near the North Gujarat. So during this season, if the cyclones form, generally they move either in the northward direction or in the northwest direction. But when we consider this case, it makes it what makes it special is its recurving track, long lifespan, because it was over more than 15 days over the Arabian Sea, and it's slow motion. So when we consider this system and we tested in this Bharat forecast system, then we found that the track error, we could able to predict the recurving of this particular cyclone well in advance, means almost 6 to 7 days in advance we were able to predict. And when we consider the track errors, they are almost around 200 or 250 kilometer for 7 to 8 days. So, and when we consider the mitigation and saving of lives, then in case of cyclones, the landfall position and landfall error, they are very important. So with this Bharat forecast system, we could and particularly for the Biparjoy case, we could able to predict the landfall 5 to 6 days in advance, with the landfall error as 50 to 100 kilometer. So I feel that this is the one of the best events we could able to predict, and this is the biggest achievement for us to track such kind of systems.
Absolutely, that's quite a remarkable achievement there, Dr. Kanase. On that note, I also want to bring in Dr. Tanmay Goswami. Dr. Goswami, as Dr. Kanase was just explaining, a part of your work is focused on translating a lot of the raw weather data from the system into practical advice that people can perhaps easily understand and use. And I just want to understand from your perspective, how did that work out? How have you been able to take all of that raw data and convert it into a system that is giving the sort of accuracy as Dr. Kanase just explained?
Yes, so translating the raw forecast data and reaching to the masses is a very challenging task. The problem is, if we tell a common people that common people is not interested in quanta of rainfall. Like if we tell a common person that there will be a 200 mm rainfall tomorrow, they will hardly understand this impact. On the other hand, if we say that tomorrow is going to be extreme event, then it will be more useful to them. They will understand what impact it will create. Now IMD is providing impact based forecast, and with this high resolution data set, it will greatly benefit this system, and we have over the years developed and also developing various forecast product related to extreme events, and that altogether is going to be very useful.
Okay, Dr. Shahadat Sarkar, am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Sarkar, I'll repeat my question to you, sir. I just want to understand from your perspective, the larger team that's working on this project. I'm sure you've had a moment to come together and perhaps share some experiences with one another. What has been the biggest learning curve here for India?
So actually because in India, so this dynamical code itself is a very new. So when earlier the model which we are using, so that has the semi-Lagrangian code and also the spectral model. But now when we see that with the global centers, so there are centers which are using finite volumes, as well as some of the centers are using this TCO grid. So then we have ventured into the area that which code will be the better. So we have seen that the TCO grid has some advantage. So then we have tried to implement that in our operation, in our systems, and so that was a new learning for all of us. And then we have tried to see that how we can implement that system in our this area.
All right, Dr. Sarkar, thank you so much for joining us. I believe Dr. Revanth Reddy, your colleague, is also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Reddy, I want to understand from you, sir, what kind of data was used to really confirm that the Bharat forecast system was working as expected in real world scenarios? It's one thing when we sit in, of course, talk about coming up with a system like this, but I know that it takes a lot of scientific input and a lot of raw data. So I want to, if you can just shed some light on that quickly.
Thank you. So to confirm that the Bharat forecast system is working fine, we use the large observational data sets generated from IMD, IITM, and also the satellite data sets, as well as the radar data, and we use different forecast validation techniques to confirm that the system is working fine.
Okay. All right. I believe we have Professor Mukhopadhyay with us on the broadcast here. Professor Mukhopadhyay, we've just had a moment, sir, to listen to the entire team, and of course, it does give us that realization that it's never just one person or two people. It's never, it takes a village really to come up with something so incredible. I want to understand from you, Professor Mukhopadhyay, where do you see this particular innovation and technical advancement really taking India?
No, it has already taken India on number 1 position. India is on top now. Okay, you must have realized another point I missed actually. See, except me, all other people are very young. Okay, that is the advantage. So the model is in the hand of a talented, motivated, young spirit group of people. Okay, it will go a long way. Okay, and whatever questions you were asking, all will be answered. Many more development will happen, as Dr. Medha was mentioning, that there are already huge leverage this model is giving, but along with recent AI/ML addition that they will do, it will go to the next step. Already, I am in China. I can tell you, people here they are talking. Students are coming to me and asking about this model. Okay, so all global centers, they are now looking at India, that these guys have already come up with a 6-kilometer model, which we don't have so far. So we are already a point of, monitoring by all centers. Number 1. Number 2, I missed one point. See, this is the model which is now available in public domain. Okay, so it is not that the whole development responsibility should be, put on this small group of people. Anyone, academician, researchers, student from IITs, ISER, whoever has computer resources, and I believe it is there in India now, so they can download. This model is freely available. One should download it and start adding their values and contribute to the development of the society. Now, this small group you must have seen, they're all talented, devoted their whole time for last 4 or 5 years and brought it to this level. But this is version 1. Like any car, this is version 1. It is not the last version, it's the first version. Now it has to be taken forward, as Dr. Medha was telling. It has to be very carefully evaluated every day, every week, every month, every season. Okay, and its deficiencies has to be worked upon. Now everything cannot be done by these 5, 6, 7 people. So the whole country, that's why we made this code completely available. This is unique. First time a global kilometer scale model, India has come up, and the code is freely available to everyone, whoever is interested. So people, all those who are interested, they should, put their brain behind this and help this group. They should supplement this effort, this huge effort that these people are taking to keep India on top, to keep India, in the winner spot. We should not lose this spot. That's my only, submission.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Professor Mukhopadhyay, I'll take that as your message to India, to the world, to other young minds, aspiring scientists, people who wish to be a part of something larger than themselves. On that note, I once again thank each and every person from IITM Pune for joining us to take this conversation, very special conversation, forward. Hope you enjoyed it, viewers. With that, it's a wrap.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.